So we got tomato trellises up today for all these rows of tomatoes. Yep, this is how we do them. And actually, I do these by myself. I go ahead and put the T-post in the ground, and then I lead the cattle panel up against it, and then I lift up one end and tie it. That way I can get them pretty much up where I want them, and it holds that end while I come and do the other end. So we've got this part done. We have tied up some of the tomatoes. We're still waiting on them to get a little bit taller for some of them. I do need to come in and, like these here where they're laying over, I need to go ahead and stake them up. So we do several different types of tying up. Some of them will tie at the base and wrap it up and then attach it to the top of the trellis. Or like over here on these where they were already tall enough, we just put the little string there and attach it. So, you know, it just depends basically on the tomato plant itself on how we actually will attach it to the trellis. Now this one, I've got to do some more attaching because this is sticking out in the aisle. Do I prune these? Well, yes and no. I'm not a big tomato pruner. I'm really not. I'll come through and I'll prune off the bottoms, maybe 6 inches off the ground just so nothing's touching the ground, but I let them sucker all the way up all they want. It just, you know, to me, in our weather, with our pest problems, we get what we're going to get without pruning as much as we would if we pruned. So we're trying to be more organic, and by saying that, it's more that we're hands off than organic. So all right, we got all this back up. Everything is recovering from the windstorm. We did lose a couple of these bean plants, but overall, they're recovering for the most part. One or two of them, like I said, they bit the dust. But some of them are coming back, and they're starting to run now. So we got these trellis up just in time. We have a relative with cane, and we cut these a couple years back, and they're back. What are we doing now? Well, let me walk over here and show you what we're doing now. So this row here, we've only got one trellis up, and I'm probably gonna have to come back because I think tomatillas have to be staked as well. So I'm not sure if we're just going to stake them with a pole or if we're going to put a trellis up for those. It's just a few plants. I might find a tomato cage even. I don't know. Down here we have the white scallop squash to finish out this row. And then we've got 2 more rows of rattlesnake beans here. And now we are putting in the pepper plants. So we've got, this row is half long slim cayenne and half bell pepper. The other row will be the same, half habanero and half bell pepper. So I'm gonna put the camera down and see if I can get it to where y'all can watch what I'm doing. Alright, we're in the tomato garden, which is in the chicken yard. Got a lot of tomatoes to tie up and stuff. But I wanted to show you, everybody's like, do you prune your tomatoes? Well, not really. All I do is take those bottom branches off right there, and I make sure that leaves don't touch the ground. Because where's your diseases? In the ground. So let me show you on this one here what I will prune out if my knife will work. So right here, I'll cut that off. I'll cut this leaf off. I'm going to cut this branch off because, again, it's too close to the ground. And I need to be doing this with snips, but I can't find them at the moment, so. All right. Now this is where everybody gets into the debates. Do we leave the shoots? I do, because this one here has already come up and made a main stalk. I will go ahead and take this one off today, but I won't do that on all the plants probably, just so you know. Now, what do I mean when I cut the leaves so they don't touch the ground? I cut right there. So this leaf is laying on the ground. I don't want it to, so I just cut it off. I left some of the leaf there because that's how plants get their nutrients and stuff. Photosynthesis through the leaves and all that, you know, is part of the process. So I don't want to get rid of all the leaves. But there you go. So this is what I do with mine. Notice the bottom foot at the most. That's really not even a foot. It's the height of my hand, is what I've got clean. Okay. All right. Everybody does it differently though, so that's the thing. If you're getting good tomatoes with your method, do your method. I know there's a lot of reasons that people don't prune, and there's reasons people do prune. Me, I got way too much to do to keep coming out here pruning tomatoes. But guys, look here. You see them? We got tomatoes. I'm excited. First tomatoes of the season is coming. All right, guys. See you in a minute. All right, guys. Y'all want a tip? Look here. See that shoot right there that we're fixing to trim off? Guess what? If you take that shoot, stick it in some potting soil, keep it watered, you will have a brand new plant. So, instead of composting them, make more plants. Save money. Bye, guys. Another tip. We run cattle panels, but there's a gap between that cattle panel and this cattle panel. But regardless, this tip remains the same. We ran a bamboo pole to bridge the gap, but this doesn't reach. Same for down there. They don't reach the bottom. So how do we make them reach the bottom? What we do is we tie a loose knot at the base under a leaf, and then we wrap the stalk all the way up and tie it to the tree. As the plant grows, we'll come back and wrap it around the stalk again just to keep it climbing upwards. All right, guys, more to come. All right, guys, so we're gonna do a little update. I swear some days we live on the busiest street alive, even though we are out in the middle of the country, between two cities in the county. Our road is the cut-through road, and it's the road to get to the drug dealers, I think, too. Anyway, I wanted to take this as a moment to remind you to deadhead your irises, okay? So we have 45 different named varieties that we spent a lot of money on, okay? So we paid for those names, basically. Yeah, I could have spent less money and bought colors, but I bought names because I want to be able to sell them. And we all know if it has a name, you can sell it for more money. I've got to find ways to make the farm pay the bills, basically, you know. The less Mark has to work, the more that I can get done around here. So the goal is to get him out of work and get him to doing stuff that makes him happy as well. All right, so here we are. We have irises, 45 different named varieties of iris. As you may have seen on our Facebook page, if you follow Cedar Creek Bottoms on Facebook, or my personal page, which is Rebecca Green, you will see that we have went through and put a bloom up every day that there has been an iris that has bloomed. A lot of people want to know, why did my irises turn white? So they'll have had them in one place for a long time, and then suddenly there's no more color and they're all white. Why is this? Well, guys, it's not because they're overcrowded. That doesn't help them, by the way. It's not because they've been there forever and they just lost their color. It's not because they got a virus or any of that different things. Let me tell you what caused it. All right, let me go up here. So, we are going to hold on to this because I want to grow and see what I have, even though I did not control what pollinated each other. This right here, guys, is a seed pod. This one variety was pollinated by one of the many 45 different varieties we have. So, this seed, when it grows, could be anything. It could be white. It could be color. It could be a new variety of iris. It could be anything. So how do I prevent that? Deadhead your iris. Cut off the bloom stalk so that this doesn't develop and this doesn't ripen and this doesn't produce new plants. Okay? It's that simple. Deadhead your irises, folks. If you don't want to lose what you paid for, whether it was a name or a specific color, I mean, I paid for names of specific colors because we bought them from Shriners, and we have found several other iris places that we will be buying from as well. But Shriners is very reputable. We have been extremely happy with the bulbs we got from them. Extremely happy. So there's not a lot left blooming at the moment. Most of them have bloomed out. Irises are not a long-term bloomer. We'll come back through here with some annuals and scatter in amongst them to give it some more color. And then this fall, we will dig them up and divide them and all that stuff and make sure we keep them together with their certain varieties. But guys, deadhead your irises. If you want to keep what you have, make sure you deadhead your irises and make sure they stay true to what they are. A seed has the potential to be the mom, the dad, or a mixture of both, or some strange, way back in its parentage, child that comes out. The bulb, the tuber, is a direct piece of the plant. It's essentially a clone. So make sure that if you're wanting to keep your irises true, that you divide the tubers, not planting the seeds. Plant the seeds somewhere else if you want to plant them. That's fine. See what strange things you get. But make sure you keep yours pure by not letting the seeds drop. All right, guys. So make sure, if you like what we're doing, that you leave us a like. Tell us what you think. Leave us a comment. Tell us what you want to know more about too. And in the meantime, subscribe and share. Help us to help you. All right, guys, we will talk to y'all later. Bye.